Hey everyone, this is Henry from Questionable Cinema, and today we're going to be looking into the masterpiece of horror from 1980, The Shining, by controversial director Stanley Kubrick. Based off the book of the same name by Stephen King, The Shining stars Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, Scatman Crothers, and Danny Lloyd, who was only 8 years old at the time of filming. If you have not seen The Shining yet, this is the one and only spoiler alert I will give during this video, as there will be many things to be said during this video that would completely ruin the film if you have not seen it. In today's episode of Cinematic What Ifs, we're going to be analysing the following question. What if Jack and Wendy Torrance both went insane during The Shining? How would it happen? What would happen to Danny? And how could Dick Hallorann help? How would it happen? So as we all know, Jack Torrance, played brilliantly by Jack Nicholson in the film, goes absolutely insane after a mix of extreme cabin fever and being influenced and ultimately possessed by the ghosts and spirits of the Overlook Hotel. Jack goes on a rampage with an axe, chasing his family around the hotel attempting to kill his son Danny, but he ultimately gets outsmarted by Danny in the hedge maze and perishes in the winter snow. But what if his wife Wendy went insane too? Would anything different happen? I believe that Wendy would be possessed by the ghost of the Overlook just like Jack was, by either Delbert Grady or the woman in room 237. The reason for why I think Wendy would be possessed by either one of these two ghosts is that Jack walks into room 237 after Danny is attacked by the woman inside and Wendy begs him to go and investigate the room. After Jack is met by the sight of a beautiful woman and begins to start kissing and caressing her body, he is horrified when she turns into a hideous ghoul and scares him out of the room. Jack himself, however, is possessed by Delbert Grady, a caretaker of the past that also went on a murderous rampage in the hotel, killing his wife and two little girls, who are the girls we see earlier in the film that confront Danny. Grady convinces Jack to murder his family and, with the factor of extreme cabin fever from being stuck in the hotel with his family for many weeks and slowly losing his mind as it is, Jack agrees to do it. Wendy, however, would most likely be driven insane by the woman in room 237, I believe. As we already know that Wendy seems very fragile and helpless by her surroundings, I think it wouldn't take very much to drive her to insanity, and this breaking point could well be the horror that would face her in room 237. I think Wendy would go looking for Danny and find the door to room 237 opened and with the lights on, and she would then go in to investigate when she would be faced with the woman inside. Wendy would most likely try to be courageous instead of having to go and get Jack because she already knows that he is very frustrated and aggravated as it is. Wendy would then ask the woman what she is doing there, when the ghost would turn into the horrifying ghoul and terrify Wendy to the point of desperation and mental exhaustion, leading to her insanity. What would happen to Danny? Danny Torrance has The Shining, which is a telekinetic ability that allows one to read minds and see into the future, but also into the past. When Danny goes to the Overlook Hotel, he is confronted by many visions of the past, such as prior murders and deaths that took place in the hotel. From those events that haunt the hotel come the evil ghosts and spirits that walk the hallways and inhabit the rooms. The first ghosts Danny sees are the two little Grady girls who were murdered by their father years before the Torrances ever got to the hotel. In one of the most famous scenes in cinematic history, the two girls appear in front of Danny and ask him to come play with them for the rest of eternity, implying that Danny should just play with them as he is never going to escape the hotel and the ghosts within, and will himself most likely become a ghost after being murdered by his family. The relevance between these two girls in today's question is the fact that they are so confident Danny will not escape the forces of the hotel, which will attempt to corrupt his parents and turn them against him, that they ask him to come and play with them, basically saying, "You've lost. There's no escape. You may as well just join us." But would Danny's outlook truly be that bleak if both of his parents turned insane and there was no hope or help coming for him? The answer is yes. If Danny truly had no hope or help coming for him, then there would be no possible way he could escape from his murderous parents and the supernatural forces of the Overlook Hotel. Even if he managed to get outside the hotel, he would be unable to escape the freezing cold, harsh and snowy weather surrounding the hotel. So with that, we come up to our next question. How could Dick Hallorann help? Dick Hallorann is the head chef of the Overlook Hotel and has The Shining too. He meets Danny when the Torrances are having a tour of the hotel when they first arrive, and invites him to enjoy a bowl of ice cream one-on-one while his parents continue with the tour. Halloran then tells Danny that he is aware that he has the power of the Shining and wants to know if Danny has seen anything to do with the hotel in his visions or dreams that have frightened him or confused him. When Danny brings up room 237, Halloran becomes visibly afraid and concerned for the young boy and strongly advises Danny not to enter the room as he has no business going in there anyway and to stay out of the room no matter what. This establishes Halloran as a very caring, somewhat father figure for Danny. And it is when Danny feels that his world is crumbling around him inside the hotel that he uses the Shining to communicate with Halloran and begs him to come to the hotel and rescue him. In the film, however, when Halloran arrives, he is promptly murdered by Jack, and it seems that all hope is lost for Danny and Wendy. In the book, however, Halloran helps Danny and Wendy get out of the hotel, and together they all escape Jack and the Overlook. So what would happen if Jack and Wendy were both insane? Could Halloran help Danny? I think it would really depend on who was the first one out of Jack and Wendy to see Halloran when he arrives at the hotel. If it was Jack, I think Halloran would be quickly murdered just as he is in the film. But if it was Wendy, I believe that Wendy would possibly try to attack Halloran, but he would then try to talk sense into her and reason with her. He might get hurt and he might not, but I think he might be able to overpower her and stop her from hurting him and hurting Danny and even bring her back to her senses. But it's really hard to know because it would depend on how unhinged Wendy was and how much power she had inside her and how desperately she wanted to kill him. To summarize today's analysis, I believe that if Jack and Wendy were to both go insane in the hotel, that it would have a very different outcome on the film, but ultimately, I believe that the hotel would most likely beat Danny and Halloran and kill one or both of them one way or another. The hotel would just be too strong with all the ghosts inhabiting and the two deranged psychopaths trying to kill anyone that gets in their way. On top of that, you have the blizzard and the icy weather outside the hotel, which would just make escape near impossible without a vehicle. Do you agree with today's analysis? Let me know in the comments if you liked the video and be sure to catch our next cinematic What If coming very soon. Thank you for watching today's episode and have a great day while the sun is shining. I'm Henry from Questionable Cinema and I'll see you next time.